Alright, and welcome to the LCDM Fantasy Football League Super Bowl preview. Take a quick recap to how we got to this Fantasy Super Bowl through the first quarterfinal matchup between Rockport and Vatican Radicals. Rockport able to get off the schneid with a score of 201 to 143, avoiding the fifth straight defeat to Vatican Radicals here. Looking at the matchup itself, Vatican Radicals were led by New Orleans Saints defense with 28, a somehow surprising Baker Mayfield 36 points. But unfortunately, Houston saved me. Houston Texans came in for me. They shut down Derrick Henry. They shut down DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry, Edge. And he didn't, Garrett Wilson had a terrible game. Younghoe Koo with a one-pointer against Carolina. Not what you want to see. And meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins, their first shutout of the season, scoring 37 points. And my hero all season long, Christian McCaffrey, with 43 points, which I believe was a fantasy high to that week. And some good chip-ins from Ross St. Brown and Joe Mixon gets me to 201, and thankfully takes the victory there. Now we move on to the next quarterfinal or semifinal matchup, which was Mean Machine on the miracle run here from the 6th seed, taking on Laylo Eddie. Do fall just a bit short, 168 to 191. The big story here was Dak Prescott just getting 3 points in a fantasy matchup when, previous weeks scoring 30 consistently. If he would have kept that race up, perhaps, that would have been enough to get the victory here, but Buffalo had different ideas. Also, Brandon Ayuk was not on fire, only 6.7 points there, and 5 points for New York Jets defense. Meanwhile, it's the replaceables. Once again, for Eddie, Rashee Rice, 26 points, undrafted. Sam Laporta, undrafted, 28 points. And Brock Purdy, literally Mr. Irrelevant, 34 points. And that gets into a score of 191, and it gets in a place in the Super Bowl. Now we should take a quick look back here at Week 5's matchup between Rockport and Laylo Eddie, which was a Eddie victory, 186 to 158 in Week 5. Primarily, he was led by, guess who? Brock Purdy, 33 points over Dallas. I mean, it feels like a while back that happened, but that did happen there. New York Jets with 27 points, and Puka Nacua again with 20 points. And meanwhile, 3 points from Anthony Richardson, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, who did go on an IR in that game, I believe, so he didn't get a full game in. And unfortunately, not a lot showing up otherwise in that regard. So, well-deserved victory for Eddie there. But however, that was Week 5. And Week 12, a pivotal matchup, which was for seeding here. This basically to decide the 1 seed. Rockport came back with a vengeance here, 226 points to 167 for Laylo Eddie. Jalen Hurts with 38 points, Christian McCaffrey with 31, 27 for Lawrence, 23 for Allen. It's a death by 1,000 cuts, 20 points from Dallas Cowboys defense. Everybody did well here. Most of them, I think I only had I had 2 players on my roster that didn't get 15 points or more. So just really everybody there. Yeah, not a bad week. 167 isn't a bad score for Eddie. But, at the end of the day, you get, sometimes it's a bad matchup to run into. And so 226 could kind of flex some muscle there for Rockport. Now we do look into the Super Bowl here now. Laylo Eddie with a good little lead here with once again. Maybe the fantasy MVP if it turns out well for Eddie winning the Super Bowl here. 34 points, 164 receiving yards, a touchdown, 16 rush yards for Puka Nacua for 34 points. Kamara with 9, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense had a great game against Cincinnati yesterday with 17 points. Projection-wise, they are favored to get 192 to 164 for Rockport here, who unfortunately did have Christopher Olave, 24 points on the bench there. So not ideal to have those 24 points sitting on the bench, but he's going to hope that Godwin, who had a great week last week with Baker Mayfield, can come through for that. And in general, these are the best 2 teams. They're fighting for the Super Bowl here. It'll be this week and next week, a home and away game. to determine the Super Bowl champion. I'm really excited to see it. Best of luck, Teddy, and best of luck to everybody in the third, fourth place match between Matt and Reggie. Have to see how that goes. Josh, I believe it's Josh and Romeo in the Sacco here, trying to see who will actually end up being 7th or 8th, and Zach and Pearl People Eaters going for 5th and 6th here. So best of luck to all the teams, and Merry Christmas.